Peace, everybody. Shalom. I'm back with another one. So I'm originally back with this message for the simple fact of getting and establishing order here in the third dimension, but the order is coming from the celestial realms. Let's dig into another part of the heart space. Remember, we talked about this before on my channel when I told y'all that the earth is the heart of the universe, or it's the center, because your heart is your center and it's in the center of your body, so it's in the center of the universe. Now, I'm going to start off with a scripture out of the King James Bible because I want us to take it all the way back to the Genesis creation. We know that within the Genesis creation, the storyline of this comes from the Divine Mother, or should we say the source. Genesis is just code for gene Isis, okay? Who has the gene of Isis. All right, bear with me real quick. Okay, and so we're gonna start in the book of Genesis. Like I said, Genesis means Gene Isis. But what I want us to really emphasize in this message is not only the order, okay, the correct order, but I also want to make sure we understand the roots of the celestial skies, right? Because a lot of Israel, right? And we know this goes far beyond just the 12 tribes of Israel, but because that was our last incarnation, we want to make sure we have the correct order. And who better to bridge the gap than the mother herself, right? Because it's been said that she is the creator, right? We know that the divine feminine is the one who gives birth to the manifestation. So it would be her who has to come back and declare order in places to where it was lost. And this is correction with love because we are part of something so much greater than we could fathom in this third dimension. But for some odd reason, separation simply wants to rest in the bosoms of the 12 tribes, or we're going to say the 13. Okay. So let me share my screen for y'all real quick. Okay. So we're going to start out in the very first book of the Bible. We're going to start out in the very first chapter of that book. Yes, the book, daughter. All right, so we in Genesis, we're in the first chapter, Genesis 1. I'm not going to read it all, but for context, reading all will give you a better backstory, especially if you are new to reading the Bible for yourself. Just for anybody who might see this that is new to the channel. Okay, so let's start at verse 10. Just because 10 is completion, we're gonna start there. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. Let's start at 7. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Pay attention to the days, okay? So the evening and the morning were the second day. Now I'm gonna give y'all some little insight. 2 represents the high priestess. She sits in between the pillars of both physical reality and the world of the unseen. She sits between the veil. That's the reason why when you see the Virgin Mary, she usually have a veil on. Daughter. No, you're not going back out there. No, sorry. Okay, and so the high priestess is the original order in which the celestial bodies can come forth because without her, you don't get to see beyond the veil. It's her. It is her first, okay? And then you have the high priests, which are the mother sons. Let me continue. I said that on the second day because keep in mind in that scripture, it just told you the morning and the evening were the second day. Now we are focusing on the number 4 today. It's so many other numbers that are important too, but I just want to keep us focused on the four because we're talking about the heart space, the four great mothers. This is what we bring into unity right now. It's very important that we know what these words mean and what we're looking at, okay? So we're talking about the high priestess, the priesthood, evening and morning, okay? So it's telling you that two poles, the North Pole and the South Pole, the North Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, it's the two become one, okay? So, and there was the second day, and then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered unto one place. Let the dry land appear. And so it was. This is the physical and the spiritual. Okay. And so it says, verse 10, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, those who seed itself upon the earth. And so it was. Verse 12. And the earth brought forth grass, herb yielding seed after its kind. Okay, no, I already read that part. So 13. And the evening and the morning were the third day. Listen, we know that we work with a triunity when we speak in terms of the way this world operates. The third dimension, the highest form of creation on this planet is the mother, father, and child. Okay, so that is your triunit of creation, which goes far beyond the physical creation of just the child. It's just that that's all most of us know, being that we are quote unquote humans. Okay. Um, all right, so then we jump down here. 14 said, God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give upon the earth. And so it was. Also want to say that we know that Christ and Satan or Lucifer is the same entity. Lucifer is your physical self, and Christ is your higher self, okay? And the two are going to come together in union. So let me continue. Where we at? And it said, let them be for a light in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And so it was. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser to rule the night. He also made stars. And God set them in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth and to rule over day and over night, and to divide the light from darkness. God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. All right, let me go back. He made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Please don't. You know what? Do what you do. Okay. And so it's telling you about the celestial bodies that were created, which you can see through the hologram of the earth. Now, I'm showing you this because we need to understand masculine and feminine as polar opposite energies that come together. Stay with me. Let's go to Revelation. I'm going to Okay, so this is Revelation 6. Keep in mind 6 is key to manifestation in the last book. The last thing you do when you create with the four elements is bring it forth in a physical form for the eyes to see or your senses to see. Let me start at verse 7. And he had opened the fourth seal, and I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and I beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat on it was Death, and hell followed with him. And the power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and with beasts of the earth. And he that had, okay, we're gonna leave that right there. Now, keep in mind that we talking about esoteric information here, okay? So when we talk about death, we're talking about not a physical sense of death. Yes, your heart space can land you into a physical sense of death if you do wrong things with it. But I want to stay focused on the unseen because that's what I'm here for as a divine mother has sent me. She wanted me to set clear what the job titles were of the women who came to bring you your 12 tribes. But before I do that, I'm showing you that within creation, the number 4 represents the heart space. And we know that your soul pattern is the bridge that you're supposed to follow. Your heart is the bridge between your physical and your spiritual self. So you don't get past to the higher realms if you don't pass that heart space, okay? All right, and so if you can't pass that, you are going to have to die of your physical ways, for one. That's also a key indicator of who we're talking about in this scripture. And also, we want to note that we talking about Hades as well in this revelation, okay? If y'all don't know, go to my videos and look up my video Pluto and series The Long Lost Twins. Because I just told y'all that day and night or morning and night. We know Lucifer is called the morning star. We also know Christ is called the morning star in here. So we talk about the same deity, but we're talking about the polarities of opposites. This is me breaking it down on an energetic level. So keep the scary. If you're scared, go to church. You know, we passed that over here, but anybody who knew if you're scared, go to church because yet again, humans will prove that they sin too. Okay. Anywho, so we could say Hades is death, right? But when we're talking about death, we're talking about death of things that don't make your heart rise. We're talking about what killed Israel. Like let's be clear. Because your mama is your first teacher of love, and Israel within the collective has mainly been the source for the reason to why the mother has been hidden. It is what it is. Even I was solely based father, father, father at a point in time. So that's why I'm here to get this clear for y'all. Now, I'm gonna jump into something else because the main thing I'm here for is these women here, and I need to show this in a different way. Okay. Okay. Now, I took it upon myself to make this grid for y'all because I need you to understand that we are going to discuss the 4 mothers who brought you the 12 tribes. And I'm only saying 12 out of sake of leaving the cosmic tribe of Dinah, oh, not in the context just yet. We're gonna bring Dinah in. But first things first, we talked about Pluto when I said go look at the video of my video that I made with Pluto and series Long Lost Twins. Pluto is Hades, okay? So this represents the underworld, okay? And we know Hades sounds very close to Haiti, okay? Let's keep on following this storyline because in tarot, or should we say Torah, the original Torah, when you read the hieroglyphs, the card that comes up under the number 13, which is also 4, is Hades, okay? Go look at that video. I put it in my it's my first video ever on this channel. And it's I think it's called Series and Pluto's Long Lost Twins, and it has a hashtag behind it with Abdullah Sears' name, and I forget what else it says. But what you got, daughter? Let me see. Oh, you got my earrings. Okay. So I told y'all that because you need to know this book of Revelation talking about the rider on the horse. It even mentions the name Hades. Hades is the god of the underworld, okay? And he is also the mother's son. That's Amhotep, for those of y'all that don't know. Sekhmet and Amhotep, if you want to go with the name from the Egyptian rule. But I'm finna break it down to you out of your own Bible. First things first, if y'all like this PDF that I'm showing, I created this. I don't mind sending it to you so y'all can look at it for yourself. Thank you, baby. But let's start off here. We know that there was four mothers who were used to create your 12 tribes. We're gonna start off with Leah, okay? Above here, all this is breaking down each tribe, and it's also telling you what their job titles were. They have much more, it's more details to this. Also, remember that each tribe is also a faculty in your higher estate. 12 tribes, the tree of life, the seals, the seven chakras, all of that goes together. Okay? So we're looking at this on a matter of energy. A lot of people have been coming at, I've been seeing a lot of people have different things to say about Levi. And recently I started to, be on TikTok. And normally I'm more so on other social medias and stuff like that. But the mother put me on TikTok for a reason. So I'm over there. And what I've been running into is a lot of people with a different type of mentality towards Levi, which only makes sense because when you talk about the chosen amongst the chosen, they did a lot of demonic work on the 12 tribes as a whole, but even within the 12 tribes there is still a tribe who is treated as less than all of them, and that would be Levi. Hold on, y'all. Let me go check on my daughter because she like that. Okay, my bad, y'all. All right, so we're gonna talk about the four women who were used to be able to even give you the patriarchs that you have now today. Very important because for some strange reason we getting disrespectful when it comes to the tribe of Levi, and I feel like that's all because the order has not been correct ever since we lost our mother. When we stop honoring the spirit stops speaking to us. It is what it is. She's been begging for you to open the door and let her in, but for some strange reason, even her own children do not recognize her, which is fine because the awakening is much more than a physical thing. Everybody's so fixated on we up next and we Israel and we this and we the chosen and this and that. But you got to choose to turn on them faculties. Okay? If we all know there's a difference between physical Israel and spiritual Israel, do we not? And let's be honest on here, because you know I like truth. It's no reason for anybody to not be clear. Those of us who study in the deeper parts of the spirit, we do understand that we are on a different level than the ones who chose to stay at just the physical. So for that purpose alone, we know there's a hierarchy. We're gonna get some respect on these Levites for real today because a lot of y'all don't know that Moses, Elijah, and Jesus were a triunity. Okay. So when y'all get on here talking about Judah is the one and the scepter of Judah and this, and that, pause that for a second because the cosmic law is always going to override the physical law. Judah is over the physical kingdom, the lands. Okay. But before that, Levi is over the priesthood of celestial order. The reason why Haiti means woman, okay? There's many different meanings behind the word Haiti, but it means woman. I'm finna show y'all some deep shit, okay? But let's get into it because I want to start with the mother because we need to understand how you even got the tribe's daughter. Okay, get this. Thank you. I'll love you more. We need to understand how you even got the charge you got here in the first place, which came through the womb. Okay, let's go there. Okie doke. So the reason why the Bible tells you in Deuteronomy, actually, you know what? That's where I'm gonna go first. For so that we can put some respect on our dear brother Levi. Because I honestly believe that a lot of us did not know this. Let me go ahead. Okay. I love you too. So I'm in Deuteronomy. Let me see. This is Deuteronomy 10. Let me see real quick where I'm. Scripture time. Bear with me on. Love you too, daughter. Okay, so we're gonna Deuteronomy 10 and verse 9 is where we're gonna stop. Love you too, daughter. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance according to the Lord, as the Lord God promised him. That's just one scripture. I love you too. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but I'm gonna read it out of my own book. Um, Numbers 18 and verse 20. Keep in mind, we're in Deuteronomy 10. Something is being completed here. 10 is the number of completion, right? And 9 is the number of the divine feminine. So, who are the priesthood, the MelQIzedek priesthood order of Levi? Let's keep going. Cause we gonna pull it all out, we gonna pull out all the little clock it. Nah, honestly, because I feel like we as a whole need the celestial order way more than we need the earthly order. Because how you gonna know how to behave as royalty from the source down below? So Numbers 18 and 20. Once again, here we go with the completion because we know 8 and 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. That's justice, by the way. So two becoming one. So in this verse it says, and the Lord spoke unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. Again, Deuteronomy 18 and verse 1 and 2. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire. So somebody within this tribe is going to bring down fire, flame. We know that that is a multidimensional aspect, but let's keep that's very important, okay? Because we already know the book of Revelation told you it's not going to be a flood by water, but it's now going to be a flood by fire. So Levi, remember the first will be last and the last will be first. Let's keep going. Therefore they shall have no inheritance among the brethren. The Lord is their inheritance as he has said unto him. So it's telling you the Lord is supposed to be Levi's inheritance. But what is the Lord? Let's define that. I'm going to get to Rachel and Leah and the concubines as well. Now, if I get to butchering these concubine names, don't mind me, you know. Y'all know what to do. Listen to me, listen to me. Y'all know what to do, but no. All right, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary for us real quick. And let's get the definition of Lord. Lord, it says so many times in the dang Bible that I gotta go down super far to get the definition. Okay, so here we go. It says, okay, Lord, the activity of the spiritual I am as the ruling consciousness. The Lord God of scriptures is Christ, the spiritual man, our divine consciousness, the creative power within us. So it's telling you that Levi were inheritors of the creative consciousness. In other words, they are the inheritors of the cosmic inheritance. And one of the things that the mother was telling me when we was having this conversation together, and I was asking these questions to her about what she was explaining to me in regards to this. Let me see my book, please. Um, One of the things that she was telling me, she said, understand this, daughter. We know when Tupac talked about picture jewels being handed to an innocent child, that was him paraphrasing the meaning of handing an inheritance to a people who did not have the spiritual capacity to use it, because a child don't know what to do with jewels. And this is also another way of saying, like, look, if you was a rich person and your worth was trillions of dollars, what would you buy a rich person as a gift when they have everything? So this is the reason why the Levites did not inherit any land. Because if you come from the cosmos, you can go wherever you please. Remember, that was also in the Bible quoted to Levi too. Um, Also note, Levi is the Melchizedek, the keys. They are the key holders. I'm saying this like this because I think a lot of people felt like because carnality that you didn't really know who Leah was. A lot of them downplayed Leah in the storyline of the Bible because she was the one who was quote unquote undesirable. I'm about to show you why though. Back to my love you too, daughter. I love you too, mommy. So let's go back to the document that I created for you guys. So that way we can start breaking down the meanings of these mothers because these it's very symbolic that Jacob created children with four women. Why the number four again, which we know represents the heart space? Listen, if y'all ain't got the memo by now, you need your heart to create. It is the embodiment of the four elements. When you look at the magician card, it represents the one, but on that card there are four elements: water, air, earth, and fire. Okay? So those are the elements of the heart space. Meaning if you don't have a soul, you cannot create anything of a higher substance. But let's go back. I don't know where the hell I just put that. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find it. Bring it back up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now I got it back up there for y'all. So let's start with Leah. Leah, she represents ancestral imbalance and the retaliatory flame. She is the unloved wound. I once did a past life reading of me when I was Leah, okay? And the first card that fell out of my past life deck was one called Unrequited Love. Now I'm finna tell you what. Okay, says she is the unloved wound, yet chosen by the divine to birth the priesthood. Remember when uh one second, you guys. Here you go, mommy. Is that what you was trying to get? Okay. So remember when I think it's the Bible, well, we know it's the Bible, one. And then we also know, I think it's the Third Testament. I can't remember if it was the Apocrypha or the Third Testament, but wisdom was the one who wanted everybody to come in, dwell with her, right? and nobody would open the door for her. Remember, she was the one that everybody rejected, which is a form of unrequited love, wisdom. That's who she was. She was something foreign to the lower realms because we know wisdom comes from a higher state. Okay, and so here it says, yet chosen to birth the divine priesthood. Her pain was the blueprint, and from it came the celestial code. She held the fire that the others couldn't carry. She birthed the Levitical priesthood, the MelQIzedek line, the judgment frequency. So, if you've ever read the story in the book of Jasher about Dinah, who was sent to go avenge her? Simon and Levi, right? Judgment. So Earth is her element. So we know Leah was the element, represents the element of Earth. Cosmic function, she was the stabilizer of the root. So in other words, when there was all these different mixings of frequency, she came forth to stabilize that with her womb. She births Levi, Judah, and she births Levi and Judah, the two most spiritually loaded tribes. Key sons, Levi represents the celestial priesthood, the Melchizedek code. No land inheritance because his land is the stars. And he is the flame walker, the altar keeper, the womb protector. Did y'all hear that? The womb protector. Now, we know Levi's gate is attached to Haiti, and we hear a lot of talk about Haiti and what they come from. And if you don't know, they were the ones who were unconquerable by colonizers. And a lot of this had to do with their access to spiritual portals. Remember, I was sitting talking to AI, and they were talking about how when Columbus came over here, and I'm sitting up here like, daughter. And I'm sitting up here like, okay, so Columbus came over here and AI telling me like, well, yeah, Columbus came over here and Columbus was not able to overthrow the Haitians or the Tinos of Hispaniola. And I said, he was like, AI was saying it's the first tribe that wasn't overthrown. No, she was saying that this was the first tribe that wasn't overthrown, but also the first tribe to ever win the revolution against. And I'm like, well, how the hell do you go from trying to conquer a people and not being able to conquer them? That must mean he stopped there first. Because you got to really think of it in context, right? Because why wouldn't you? Where was the main portals at? If you don't know, Haiti's waters are connected to the exact pure Melchizedek lineage, okay? But who were the Melchizedek priesthoods? They were birthed from a womb. We just talked about her. Her name was Leah. So Judah is the rulership, the land dominion, the gatekeepers of the earth's throne. This is the house through which kings and messiahs walk. So, daughter, stop putting stuff in your mouth. So basically, um, Levi is the celestial order to which has connections to the cosmos. And Judah is the order that has connections to the earth. So when you hear them talk about Christ walking through the priesthood as Jesus or Yahweh, why he came from the tribe of Judah is because he was the representative of all the seals open at once. Okay. Peep that because that is very, very important when we talk about the triunity. Jesus was Moses too. Like these were they worked in a triunity to represent celestial, the middle. So the order, okay, let's talk about the Trinity real quick. Each of them came in to represent a different state of consciousness. I did a lesson about this. I don't remember if it was the grids lesson or whatnot. I can't remember if it was that one or the overself one. But either way, I did a lesson on this and I actually broke down Moses, Elijah, and Jesus and their aspects that they came. One represents mental, one represents celestial, the other represents the physical. Okay. And so we could say that Judah would be the one who's risen fully, walking the earth as a ruler. Here you go. All right, and then Simon and Reuben, the instruments of judgment, especially Simon who helped Levi avenge Dinah. All right, now we talking. Let's jump forward to Rachel. So Rachel was the beloved. She was the favorite. She was the beloved gate and womb of transition. She was the transitional womb. She's the middle middle of the switch. Okay. She's also Leah's sister in the story. So Rachel's role, she's barren. Rachel is the beloved but barren. Uh-oh, my bad. She represents delay, timing, sacred waiting. She is the gates that don't open until the frequency is correct. So she don't give birth to these until the portal say it's time to. I love you too, daughter. She is the gate that doesn't open till the frequency is correct. She births Joseph, the flame of preservation, and her element will be water. What? Okay. And this is esoteric, so multidimensional. We're not talking about just one element, but for the sake of this lesson. And then it says here, her cosmic function was the memory. Waters represent remembrance. This is why the waters in Haiti are so important. Okay. Because even stepping on that land in itself will tell you whether you belong there or not. Um, and then let's see. It says so she's the memory of the divine plan. She is the remembrance. The womb of delay that protects the sacred flame until it's time. Didn't Moses get hidden until it was time? Wasn't Yahweh Shai or Jesus hidden in the Nazarenes? Um, it's always the next rising Messiah that is hidden in a certain place. Keep that in mind. That's gonna matter in a second. So let's see. Her key sons, Joseph, the dream keeper, the preserver of the bloodline. He carries the famine codes, survives and thrives where others fall. His children are Ephraim and Manasseh, which represent the split gate, the two lands, the two bloodlines, the two nations. Benjamin is the hidden one, born in transition, which is between birth because Rachel dies giving birth to him. And he the last gate, the one who holds the grief and the flame at once. Okay. Because remember, all these things happen to the Divine Mother. So when she come in as Rachel, Leah, Zapalia, uh, Bilhala, whatever her name is, and Dinah, these are all different aspects of the Divine Mother. Why did he have four wives? What do you need to create in celestial terms? You need the four elements. So let's continue. Then we're going to talk about Zilpah, who is the hidden code carrier. Her role was a handmaiden to Leah, but remember we're talking about mirrors. This is a hologram. Everything's in a reflection. So she represents the background womb that carries the background flame. The unrecorded code. She births Gad and Asher, who are tied to Tartaria, hidden realms, um, and forgotten gates. Her element is air. Her cosmic function is the love you too, daughter. Memory keeper of the off scroll, off record civilizations. She's considered the midwife to the ancient lands. Her sons were Gad warriors. Okay, Gad they weren't just warriors, but this is just for this lesson. And then her Zepal. Let's see, her key son. Oh shoot, I guess I took it out of here. Asher. She was also Asher's mother. Her okay, element air, keeper of the home first. She's the midwife to the ancient lands, and then Asher, who is abundance. He holds wealth and frequency of lands long erased from the record, like Tartaria, which is another form of Atlantis. He was the one of oil, he was the oil of the earth. And matter of fact, now I think about it, it was Gad who is it Dan architecture? I don't remember if it was daughter. You're not going out there. Yeah, no. No. Go get a toy. Go get a toy. Um, Please don't do that. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. All right, y'all, my bad. I had to stop what I was doing and come back to this. 1 second, let me pull it back up. Okay, so now we at boy, we at the last. We're gonna talk about the last wife or concubine, as they said, and her name is Bilhala. Okay, and so she births the cosmic twins who represent polarity. Bear with me. Okay, guys, I had to go get my daughter right because she's on one today. Per usual, she we picked this day to be on one when we trying to bring out the great mothers. Okay, let me go back to what I was on. Okay, now I'm gonna open this up because we almost done with this part here. So, Bilha, maybe I need to learn how to pronounce that because I feel so retarded saying it like that. Anyways, so she was the handmaiden to Rachel. She births the cosmic twins, which represent polarity, projection, and power and duality. Very important. You can't have hot without cold. You can't have cold without hot. So she holds the quantum mirror of the feminine matrix. Her element is fire. Her cosmic function is the force behind what the world sees as suns, but are really fragments of the whole. Her key suns are Dan over judgment, snake in the path, ancient serpentine energy, not the evil, but the kind that awakens. Okay, so think solar plexus energy, tied to cosmic judgment. So, uh, we know Orion's belt, and we know how that lines up with the Kundalini. Naphtali, who is over speed, freedom, and grace, represents the frequency of ascension through motion and pretty much a spiritual jet stream. And we're gonna talk about Dinah. She's a very important part, okay? Because Dinah, she was the last tribe, okay? But remember, Dinah is also Leah's daughter. So Dinah is the flame of unification. Her name means judge, but her presence means balance. She was the only daughter, and her body was the bridge. So she was the heart, okay? Because just as I come down as the mother, I am still a daughter when it comes to the fleshly world. And if you go deeper into Dinah's story, you'll understand that there was some tension in regards to her placement. Because remember, she wasn't given a tribe, she was the 13th. Remember, we just talked about the 13th, okay? We talked about that being Sekhmet and Amhotep when we read through the Torah. And her role, okay, hold on. Let's see here. What did he say about her right here? What did I put? Yahweh. Okay. So it says her body was the bridge. The tribes came into war after her violation. Two sons, Levi and Simon, avenged her, which tells you that her womb was worthy of a war. Everything, all these wars is about the womb. If you didn't know, now you do. Like, period. Everything about a pussy run the world. Pussy. Everything's about pussy. So the spiritual role, yes, daughter, what do you want me to do? Play with him? Okay. She is the stop union. She's the halt to the merger between lands, timelines, and bloodline. And when it's talking about that, it ain't meaning like she was in the way. It means that she was the one with the remembrance. She was the gate. Okay, let me see what.
Mom, mom, mom.
Be quiet, daughter. Most of them I can't hear you. Most can't hear you but in here. Okay.
We will.
Now, that's what I need to do is I'm gonna go to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and I want to define Melchizedek real quick. Here it is. No, I'm gonna share my screen in a second though. Let me see. So let's go ahead and define Melchizedek because if you read the Book of Remembrance, the Order of Melchizedek, it's going to describe very feminine attributes in regards to Melchizedek. We know he was a reincarnated version of Jesus, but we also know, well, we can't say he was a reincarnated. He came before Yahushua, but we know that we're talking about the same energy in a different vessel and under different, having a different assignment, but the same cause, the same cosmic.
Okay.
Hold on, quick. A lot of these texts be spelling Melchizedek differently, so I'm looking it up right now for us. Goodness. Daughter, I hope you don't got that in your mouth. Mm-mm. Okay. I'm going to define Leah for y'all in here too, because I found a lot of what they said about Leah to be very interesting out of the here we go. Melchizedek. Let me move my thing down. Okay. So it says right here, Melchizedek, which we know means key, Melchizedek. So there's a key there. It says here, King of righteousness, righteous rule, upright counselor. We know a counselor usually is referring to a woman. And then it says, righteous judgment, King of justice, the King of Salem, the priest of the Most High God. We know the Most High is the Divine Mother, who brought forth bread and wine for Abram on his return from the slaughter of the heathen kings who had Lot captive. So what did I tell y'all Levi's job was? The avenger. Okay? So this is very, very clear to me that Melchizedek had an order that was above physical. And then it says here, of Jesus Christ, it was said that he would be a priest forever. How can you be a priest forever? That's called another word for forever. It's called eternal. And who is over the eternal priesthood? The divine mother. Okay, and then it says after the order of Melchizedek. And then it says the divine will established in man. Uh-oh. The divine will established in man in righteousness, justice, and peace. King of righteousness, King of justice, Salem meaning peace. Melchizedek really refers to the Christ mind or super consciousness, that which, when ruling in a man's consciousness, established and maintains right doing, perfect adjustment and peace. So the true Melchizedek order starts with the divine feminine. This is why Levi and Dinah had the same mother and same father. Think in terms of principles and faculties, same order. Why you think Levi took it so personal? What happened to his sisters? To his sister. Let me get, let's do Leah. I love you too. Bro, stop, mama. Okay, Leah. Her name means weary, exhausted, faint, sluggish. That's what her name represents. And the metaphysical form is it represents the human soul. So your soul is weary, is lonely, is exhausted, it's faint, it's sluggish. But it is also the gate that is going to be activated out of that sorrow. Remember when it talks about the let me tell y'all what is it called? The church of so let me see real quick, y'all. Y'all need this. So I think the word is diartria. It's the church, it's the fourth church that's spoken about in the Bible, right? And what it talks about is how it talks about when it speaks against the churches, you know how each church says, "This is what I have against you." And it's the mother saying what she have against the church, whatever church she's speaking to. This one represents the heart chakra, okay? So the word is spelled diatra, but it's spelled very similar to the thymus, which we all know. We got our great brother Abdul Asir who gave us many, many lessons about the thymus gland. But when you think of the diatra, it's the fourth seal or fourth church in the book of Revelation. And just because I want to give y'all a little more information on it, it says here it's the element of air and it's located in the center part of the chest. The color is green. And it is the gate between the lower chakras and the upper chakras, but the thymus gland and the biological role of it, it is just behind the sternum above the heart. It's called your higher heart, okay? And it's called the seat of spiritual immunity. The biological role, it produces T cells, which are essential for your immune system. And it's most active in childhood. And it shrinks with age unless spiritually reawakened. So if you've been on my TikTok, I've been real heavy on healing your inner child so your heart space could thrive. So this is talking about the thymus role in the body, in the biology. And then it says it's also tied to cellular memory. Oh, you dropped it. And it says it's tied to cellular memory, protection, discernment, or self versus the other outside world. Okay. It's considered a higher octave of the heart chakra, and it activates when unconditional love, truth, and forgiveness are embodied. So I'll get back to that on a different lesson because it's gonna have to be a two-part lesson here, girl. Okay. Now, so this is why Leah is undesirable because in this realm, you are not really out here trying to hear your soul. Only ones that's out here trying to hear their soul speak is the ones who are healing their inner child, like I just told y'all. So this is why Leah was not desired because she represents the human soul. your physical body wants to be pleased by the flesh. Let's go see what Rachel means. So it says here, Rachel migrating, journey in droves, sheep, lamb. Metaphysically, Rachel represents the feminine receptive or soul phase of the pure natural life and organism of man. So she represents the lamb. This phase of life that Rachel signifies is yet as a transitory state, migrating. It is the fruitful only on the higher spiritual plane of ideas. Rachel was for a time barren. Girl, get it. Rachel was for a time barren. Her two sons, Joseph and Benjamin, were a result of prayer. Or we could say they were a result of activation. Stop screaming at me. We could say her two sons were a result of her activation, okay? This is why she was the most loved and most favored because she was the odyssey, or should we say she was the migration of the spiritual in the physical. Let's see here. Rachel was for a time barren. Her two sons, Joseph and Benjamin, were the result of prayer. They represent the faculties of imagination and active faith. They, especially Joseph, were accepted above their brothers, the other sons of Jacob, who were the offspring of Leah, the human soul, and the two handmaids. Jacob loved Joseph and Benjamin much more than his other sons. Let's go to the handmaid. I don't know what her name is, but we're gonna find her in here. So she represents bashfulness, timidity, and tenderness. Rachel's handmaid, whom she gave to Jacob as his concubine, became the mother of Dan and Naphtali. Metaphysically, she represents a soul reps, receptivity, somewhat given to self-abasement, tenderness, bashfulness, which unified the I am, Jacob, of the unfolding mentality in individual consciousness, bringing forth judgment and strength. These qualities find expression first in the physical or more outer consciousness of man, but their true origin is from spirit. Their spiritual nature and spiritual activity are due and established over time. So this is why these handmaids are more of the mirror vessels of the more physical works of Leah and Rachel. Okay, let's do the last concubine. I think her name is. Let me see how I'm gonna spell it. Hold on.
Teacher. Oh, Nikki.
I'm not talking to Nikki, girl. Shush.
Nikki.
Mm, 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 mm.
Nikki.
Okay. Mm, mm. I'm thinking about it.
Nikki.
Oops.
Oh.
Okay, so let me just pull it back up on here real quick. Find her. Okay. Sorry, I was butchering her name, and so I couldn't find it in the text. Here she goes, right here. Zilpah. Okay, Zilpah. I'm probably butchering it. Who cares? But then the meaning behind her name is distilling. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. It is just too loud out here. 1 second. Okay, y'all, so I'm back. My bad. Let's go ahead and finish defining her name right here. Okay, so her name means distilling, extracting an essence, dropping, dripping, trickling, leaking, exuding myrrh, tears, bitterness. So her metaphysical definition is the unfolding of the soul man, little by little, drop by drop, as it were. The soul becomes awakened to spiritual thought, which is this distillment, and relating to spirit as a fundamental principle of being. But in Zipah, but in the Zipah phase, excuse me, in the concubines phase, we're gonna call her Z. But in Z's phase of the unfolding soul, we do not find sufficient staying qualities. Too much of the human is still in evidence, and much more of the good is dissipated. So, with that being said, daughter, what are you talking about? With that being said, you now know that these mothers of those tribes were the focal point or the blueprint of what you call creation today of the chosen. They were chosen, but there was a specific route that they were selected through the wombs of the mothers that they came from. Now, remember, concubine or not, you are as a earthly being a lower version of something higher. So when it's telling you that these concubines came from Leah, Leah gave her concubine and Rachel gave hers, they are telling you these are reflections of the higher states being shown below. Why would it be four pillars? If you read Torah, the four of wands in particular is the card of celebration, but it's also the card of home, the heart space, the heart gate. Okay. So, with that being said, don't go around talking about anything to do with the Levitical priesthood being beneath Judah because it's not. And the waters in Haiti represent Hades. Those waters have the portal opening to the underworld, which is by way the place to which your Messiah will physically come. If you didn't know, now you do. Remember, it is a triunity. So Moses bear very powerful spiritual gifts. Yahushua physically walked with them. Elijah was the one who facilitated them through his mental plane. Okay? So all of that extraness that y'all got on here talking about Judah and this and that, all that shit, you don't even know where you came from. You don't even know about the womb of Judah because let's be clear, Judith is the one who had the ability to rise and awaken those seals. Or we can call her, for sake of the conversation, Dinah. Okay? And so the Levites and the Simeons, Simonites, whatever word you call them, were the ones who were sent to avenge her, which means they had orders from the celestial kingdom to do that. And if you listen to the story in the book of Jasher, what did they tell you they used as their sword? We know the sword represents the throat chakra. And as a priest, what do you do with your throat chakra? Speak. They said that they did what they when they went into that town, they said their voices were so powerful and so strong that women were having miscarriages. These were mimic wombs or false divine feminine wombs. You know, when they talk in the book of Revelations about the churches and it talks about the fourth church, they talk about the Jezebel spirit. And a lot of y'all on here be thinking the Jezebel spirit is anything sexual or anything that's not in submission. No, it is your lower estate. Why is it referred to as a female? Well, we know who altered the books. And we know that your womb is your power. So if you come from a false womb that is not connected to the source, you have no power. So Jezebel is a womb who did not have a connection to the eternal source. She was the physical manifestation of all of your fantasies and desires. We know a woman is the number one thing desired on the planet. So when you think of desire, you can think feminine for the sake of knowing that the feminine was first. And so I'm gonna end there. I'm gonna do another one of these videos to explain a little more about MelQIzedek and the priesthood order. But I wanted to come and bring you the four mothers, the four elements, and understanding to where the hell you even got the name chosen one from. It is from her source, her womb. Only she can be barren and make herself give birth again by connection, by way of connection through the wombs in which she came from. And so I'll leave you with that. And I want y'all to understand that these 12 tribes as faculties are seals that have yet to be opened. So a lot of y'all that talk so much about who's who and what's what, when it comes to this, y'all don't even know that y'all got to be activated to even get any gifts. And the only activation comes from the mother. That's why Levi was the one who bore the priesthood, because he was the binger of the mother. Now, y'all have a good evening, and I hope y'all got some jobs, minus the little baby in the background that is extra needed today. She's all full of love. Come on, let's say bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all.